I think that the type of draft this was dictated, not to get all cliche, sticking to the board, all
Yeah.
that nonsense. It was a strong draft for defensive linemen. And you had a first round talent in Maxwell Harrison to take in the first round. That's also a position of need. I think it did behoove Brandon Beane and the Bills to kind of roll with the tide, roll with the current, so to speak, instead of forcing it here or there. Time will tell. Big picture, if we're going to take it back to the last 8 years, probably should be drafting some wide receivers, guys that can grow with Josh Allen. I think there's a benefit to that matters, in addition to being cost controlled and getting a lot of bang for your buck at that position where that number's just skyrocketing. Josh Allen's the best player in the sport. To get a young player who can grow with him, I think it's important, especially since when they have the effort's been there from Brandon Beane. They have signed a ton of veterans, whether it's training for guys back to Kelvin Benjamin during the season, Amari Cooper last year. They've done, I'm thinking like Jamison Crowder, Marquez Valdez-Scantling last year. Like year 1 to year 8, they've been bringing in veterans all the time, and a lot of them don't really pan out. I think there's a benefit to a young player growing with Josh Allen. You do have that in Keon Coleman. So we'll
Right.
see what happens there. But the more I really thought about this, the more I really do love what Brandon Beane did in this draft. And trust me, it is Brandon Beane making that final decision. He has the power there at One Bills Drive when it comes to these draft days decisions. It's a strong draft up front. Your defense can't stop anything in January in these elimination games. Uh, go right through the numbers. They're not pretty. Maybe, we don't overthink it. Get players who can get your defense off the field against the
Right.
Kansas City Chiefs. TJ Sanders, in theory, you put him in on third down. Ed Oliver takes the double team. TJ Sanders has a one-on-one. He has to win that one-on-one. He has to get in Patrick Mahomes' face, at least affect the play to a degree, right? So have that player. Max Harrison. Next time you suffer an injury out there, maybe you don't even suffer an injury. But he is your receiver, chasing Xavier Worthy around, chasing Rashee Rice around. This time he sticks with that wide receiver on those crossing routes. It's not Patrick Mahomes looking for number 5, Kyrie Elam, just humiliating a first round
Right.
pick. So these are additions that directly help you in this game against this team. Same thing with Cincinnati. Maybe you see them. Maybe you see Baltimore. Like the defense wasn't A+ in that Baltimore game in the divisional round either. So
No.
like the defense had its struggles last season, especially when it came to third down and getting after the elite quarterbacks. So if I'm Brandon Beane, I get the exasperation to a degree. He's looking at like, man, look, we scored 30 points in 8 straight games. First team in NFL history to run for 30 touchdowns, throw for 30 touchdowns. Like, we think we upgraded with Joshua Palmer, paying him $11 million
Right.
a year. Curtis Samuel will be healthy. Dalton Kincaid was battling a PCL injury. Keon Coleman wasn't the same player off of his wrist injury. So, a lot of it is trying to sell this. I get it, but I think there's a lot of substance. I think there's a lot of truth to what he's saying. And also, if I can add this too, Matt, like, Jeremy White, obviously it was on WGR where we're being kind of with scorched earth. To Jeremy's defense, he's been talking about defense a lot on
Yeah.
WGR. He does a fantastic job here locally, as a strong following. So I just want to throw that out there for Jeremy. He has been talking about defense. He hasn't been the wide receiver train thing, is popular. Hell, I wrote a story saying this should draft a wide receiver too.
Yeah.
It's more of like a Twitter shtick, but he has been looking at this big picture. All in all, I think the Bills are set up um, for a different outcome in mid-January. We'll see if the coaching can deliver, right? We'll see what
Yeah.
Sean McDermott can do with these new pieces now.